Okay, our next question is, Newmarket is not famous. Newmarket is not famous for being an easy place to find affordable rental housing. And we're going to be looking at residential intensification in this town as one of the places to grow. What do you, as a potential municipal councillor, intend to do on the issue of rental housing that's affordable in Newmarket? And we'll be first Brad, then Joe, then Steve, then Ann.
Gotta get some of those platform shoes. Anyways, thanks a lot, Liz. There was a very, when I went door to door to a lot of the seniors, there was a very good question brought up. Geared to income housing. A lot of seniors in the northern part where I reside, they're facing probably $1,200 to $1,300 a month rent. They're trying to get by on their pensions. If one of their partners is sick or not able to contribute somehow, they face a big burden in staying in the residence where they are. They're forced to move to geared to income housing or other housing arrangements. They say, well, what would you do, Brad, to become elected council? Well, first of all, I look at what the agenda for the council is for the next few years on affordable housing, and I look at some municipal lands that the municipality has right now in actually building geared to income housing or seniors residents, and a lot of these residents are out of control of the normal people that are facing diverse actions, whether they be losing their job or through disability, and I look to alternative solutions to bring geared income housing to Newmarket, not only in Ward 5, but to the general Newmarket area as well. And I'll work with the people to get your voice heard up there to bring affordable housing to not only Ward 5, but to Newmarket as well. Thank you.
The issue of affordable housing is of course tied to two very important things of geared income housing. One is a shifting demographic that we have, so the shifting of the pendulum. So where in 1967 we were building all these memorial parks, memorial arenas, and so forth. Now we have to realize that that pendulum has now shifted, and those kids we were building arenas for very soon are going to be elderly people, they're going to be seniors, and they're going to need that geared to income housing. The other, of course, issue that geared to income housing or affordable housing raises is the issue of poverty and the issue of poverty in your region. I'm very confident in the region. I think we have two great regional representatives right now, Councilor Regional Taylor and Mayor Bynum, and I know they both are very strong advocates of geared to income housing. Housing New York has been very active in the market, and in fact, it's probably been the place where it's found the most friendly and the council most willing to accommodate their needs and work with them. In fact, just recently this year, last year, we opened a wonderful Tom Taylor Place. And as ward council, residents of the ward, you know that we have the highest density right now, or highest number of senior housing, and one of the highest numbers of residential homes, to the point where a bylaw actually requested by you in 2004 was put in place that residential homes, group homes, and so forth now only occur every 500 meters because the downtown is definitely, Ward 5 is saturated with homes. Nevertheless, though, there are land opportunities in the town, there are, and because of course, of land acquisition and so forth, I can't tell you, but there has been a lot of discussions, even with Mayor Bynum and Regional Council Taylor, in providing the region with more lands to provide more geared to income housing and seniors housing. You just seen a beautiful facility being built by the hospital. There will be another facility for seniors built within South Lake. And I think we're prudent, and I think that the region is building for the future. They're doing right. Nevertheless, we do have a poverty issue that has to be addressed in this town. Even today, I had somebody knock on my own door asking for help. They're in desperate need to find employment. Skilled carpenter that his landlord was kicking him out because he couldn't afford the rent, and he's now time of the year where construction work is very scarce. So we have to keep those realities in mind. We have to work with the region, we have to work with the province, and we have to ensure that everybody in the market, every resident in the market is treated the same way. And the best place to be treated fairly, to be treated with an open heart, and to accept diversity is definitely Ward 5 downtown Newmarket. Thank you.
I had the privilege, I went to, when everyone runs for council, they knock on doors, I went to the apartments over at Water Street. I also went to the apartments on William Row, 20 and 40 William Row, and the same question came up, well, what about affordable housing for seniors? And when I went back to inquire about that, what I was told was it's actually mandated by the region, not the town. So there are facilities in place, but the challenge we have is that we have wonderful senior facilities, Nmkt, a few others, but they're all privatized and they're very expensive to get into. And I'm not going to say they're not nice because they are nice, but they're very expensive. So what we need to do is we need to initiate on council a forum that would engage the region to say that we have a requirement here for affordable senior housing, not co-op housing, senior housing, because I think the town has done a wonderful job previously. Whenever I guess a construction firm was coming in and developing, they were always required to provide certain things like a park or co-op housing or affordable housing, things like that. But it was never deemed directly at seniors. And I don't think that's an oversight. I think the problem is that the population is aging. And I think we have to address it now because I want a place to live when I get older. So that's exactly it. And it's a serious issue. And I'm not making light of it. I don't have an answer for it. And the reason I don't have an answer is because we have to go to the region and we have to explain to them that our population is growing. One thing we can do is when we do the vertical growth on Davis and Young, we can mandate certain aspects of that to include senior affordable housing. Right on. And that's what I do.
Affordable housing, of course, is the responsibility of the region. And to my memory, to my knowledge, the last affordable housing that was made available to the town of Newmarket was made available through during Tom Taylor's last term in office, and it was possibly because the town owned the Walker Farm, and they were able, and Tom, of course, is a great advocate for affordable housing, Habitat for Humanity, he's a great humanitarian, and we were able to get that housing due to his, primarily to his efforts. I don't believe the last term of council has produced any affordable housing, would I be correct in saying that?
You have to ask the region did produce affordable.
Oh, well, I thought you might remember if some had been built. Term anyway. No. Okay. I got into a conversation with a woman in a senior in one of the buildings, and she said, I said, how's it going? She said, well, things are rough. I said, well, what do you mean? She said, well, you know, a lot of people in here are living on their line of credit. I said, well, how does that work? She said, well, we don't have enough money to get by. We're most of us on fixed incomes, and we go to the food bank for our food. And when we get there, we get crackers and biscuits and no perishables, no protein. And my husband's got cancer, and we're basically, she said, the bills come in, and I'm just kind of juggling which one I'm going to pay this month. And this is starting to be a recurring theme in me in a lot of the seniors' residents. One of the supers told me that, I said, well, what's a profile if we would come and purchase the housing here or be a part of the housing here? And he said, well, it used to be single ladies on fixed incomes, but now they can't keep up with the rising taxes and things they have to pay. And we've lost a lot of our ladies. They've had to make other arrangements for their living accommodation. And I think that's pretty sad in this day and age in the town of Newmarket. And to think that these are the seniors, these are the men and women that went and fought in the Second World War, and we lost many of them, great Canadians. They came back, they built the hospitals, the universities, the colleges to educate people of my age, the baby boomers, and this is the way they're being treated. I think it's shocking. I think it's a travesty in this day and age.